Alright, so I'm trying to finalize the rules for this new sport I'm making up.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, you have this, like, race, alright? Everyone's running, and it's in horrible conditions. You know, it's dusty, it's cold, or hot, and then you just you place little traps around everywhere. And you also give them incentive to try to hurt each other. And then, by the end, you're supposed to only have one person make it.
Aaron.
Yes.
They already did that.
What? What do you mean?
They did your sport.
They did my sport?
They did your sport.
But before I did my sport.
In 1904, even.
Fuck!
The Summer Olympics of 1904 took place in St. Louis and almost destroyed the Olympic Games forever. From its petty conception to the chaos of its marathon, it was almost certainly doomed to fail from the start. The newly formed committee that should decide the location of the Games originally settled in Chicago. Conveniently enough, St. Louis was hosting the World's Fair during the same time, and so the committee reluctantly agreed to let them host the Olympics too, fearing that the athletes would face a conflict in choosing events.
The Windy City. Windy's nuts.
It was also the second longest Olympics in history due to its scheduling around the World's Fair. It lasted about 5 months.
So what was the most longest?
Oh wait, yeah, wait.
Well, if that's the second longest and it was 5 months, what was the longest?
My dick. It was a 90-degree humid day in St. Louis when the race began.
You gonna tell me what angle the sun was at? How many clouds were in the sky?
That's not the fucking...
There was a slight breeze going southeast. Going east-west.
On top of that, automobile dust made the air suffocating and uncomfortable.
I fucking hate automobile dust.
I'm driving my car and the dust gets in there. I'm like, ooh, it's like a fine cigarette.
Man, the automobile dust woke me up in the middle of the night and threw me out of my bed. They splashed cold water on my face and slapped me and then left without a trace.
Dude, let me tell you, the automobile dust kicked down my door one night and they put a pillowcase over my head and started kicking the shit out of me.
They make the air so uncomfortable.
The automobile dust fucked my wife.
Man, lucky.
The lineup included 10 Greeks.
That's called a decathlon.
Oh! The lineup included 10 Greeks who had never run a marathon in their life, 2 men from South Africa who showed up barefoot, and Felix Carvajal. Is that how that's pronounced, Carvajal?
I think it's actually carvaginal.
Carvaginal. Nice.
That's what your wife was.
Carvajal was from Cuba and had raised money to go to the States by demonstrating his ability in running. However, he quickly gambled all of his earnings away and had to hitchhike all the way to St. Louis.
But can I have money to go to Olympics? Yes, actually gamble like a boss.
Gamble time.
Hitchhike time.
As a result, he showed up woefully unprepared. One of the other contestants felt so bad for him that they cut off part of his pant legs to turn them into shorts.
What? So the dude gambled his pants away? Why didn't he have any shorts?
He was just really horny. With this unusual assortment of athletes, along with some Americans who had run the Boston Marathon, they set out for what would be known as the hardest race of their lives. The track included just 2 water stops, since the organizer wanted to test the effects of dehydration on the human body.
Yeah, that's a little,
That's the worst place
you
to
can't
fucking
do that?
do that.
You can't do that.
Human rights called, they want their money back. It was reported that athletes' tongues were simply sponged with warm water.
Sponged?
Yeah.
What does that mean? How do you sponge someone's tongue?
Do you, like, dab it on there, or do you... The nature of the race quickly weeded out a few people. One of the African runners was accidentally chased a mile off course by wild dogs.
That's stupid. It's like there's this dude from Africa running the Olympics, and then these dogs just come out and chase him off the track. That's funny.
It's comedic, I would say.
Yeah, just comical at best.
Another man tore the lining of his stomach due to the dust entering his esophagus, and he was sent immediately to the hospital.
Yeah, I guess not everyone's a winner like you. Sometimes the dust just tears open your stomach.
Wait, so are you implying that dust fucking my wife is me winning?
Yes.
Other contestants, like our good friend Felix from earlier, decided to take a slow approach. He stopped occasionally to chat with spectators while the others ran on.
That's like when you're losing and you're like, oh, I don't even care, I'm not taking it seriously.
Guys, it was a joke. I lost on purpose.
Yeah.
It's called irony.
Yeah, you don't understand. I wasn't even taking it seriously. Did you see that? I wasn't even running the whole time.
I gambled for cool, guys. I'm Felix.
Felix, you're a bitch. Alright?
He's probably dead. At one point, he asked a few of them for some peaches they were eating, looking for anything to quench his thirst. After they refused, he simply took them, eating as he ran.
This dude's a scumbag.
This dude's a fucking character.
Who is this man?
It's Felix Carvajal, bitch. Remember the name. Deciding that wasn't enough, he entered an apple orchard along the track and took some apples too. Unfortunately, the apples he had eaten were rotten, and soon the stomach cramps got to be too much for him, and then he left the race. Felix Carvajal, you are a genuine bitch. You are a grade A, 100% bitch.
She's a fruit thief. Taking off with my fruit.
Was it your apple orchard? Aaron's apple orchard?
No, it was the peaches.
It was your peaches?
Yeah.
With so many people dropping, spectators were losing hope that anyone would finish, especially the spectators waiting at the finish line.
They should have had an arena, and then they just run in circles.
That's what I imagined it as. Is like, I imagine like one of them fucking track and field like arena things.
They introduce apple orchids and then wild dogs in it. So that the same stuff happens, but it's all like a spectator.
It's like the
event.
Hunger Games when they start throwing shit in the arena.
It's like a gladiatorial, like...
It's like, here's some berries that'll kill you. Here's some wild dogs. Look at these bees.
Yeah. Look at this dust fucking your wife. It's not real, but it looks really, really real.
It feels real, too.
It feels real.
Eventually, at an astounding time of just 3 hours, American Frederick Lords crossed the finish line to an enthusiastic crowd.
America first, baby!
America! USA, baby!
USA!
Just as the gold medal was about to touch his neck, someone from the crowd shouted that he had hitched a ride along the track for about 11 miles. Lors claimed it to be a practical joke.
The dude's like, hey, what, you can't take a joke?
What kind of prank is this?
I wasn't gonna take the medal, idiot.
Dude, come on.
I was just about to stop it. You just didn't let me.
It was a clown car, guys. It was a joke the whole time.
Man, who do they let into the Olympics? Half these people are just scumbags.
The cheering turned to boos and grumbles, and the wait began again.
Were they trying to scare him with their boos? Go, boo!
Ah! I gotta leave St. Louis immediately!
He says, ah!
Fuck. Hearing the news of Lors' false victory gave competitors a new hope.
Star Wars.
Especially Thomas Hicks, who was the next person behind him. At the second and final water stop, his trainers gave him a meal of egg whites, brandy, and rat poison.
Yo, what the fuck, dude? What?
Don't talk to me till I've had my rat poison.
This is the Olympics. This is real. And they're just doing this. They're just giving them alcohol and rat poison.
I have a question.
Yes, Cortez?
Were they raw egg whites or was it like cooked? This is one stone cold motherfucker. At the second and final water stop, his trainers gave him a meal of egg whites, brandy, and rat poison, a stimulant that hadn't yet been outlawed. With one more meal and poison coursing through his swollen veins, he made a final push to the end. It involved having to be carried by his trainers on either side, just under a mile from the finish, but he finished and claimed an American victory in the Impossible Marathon of 1904. I need my mommy to carry me across the finish line because I ate too much poison.
Yeah, what the hell, man? Why'd you poisoned yourself?
It was later found that the race wasn't a true marathon, being just 1 mile short of the 26-mile standard, but it didn't belittle the racer's achievements.
The people running the race were trying to kill the people racing, and then the people trying to help the people racing were also trying to kill the people racing, and then the people racing were also trying to kill the people racing.
My question is, who was that unsung hero who drove that dude 11 miles to the finish, or whatever?
It was the wild dogs.
It was the dogs. Later the next year, Lors and Hicks would meet again in the Boston Marathon, with Lors claiming victory sans the use of hitchhiking tactics. Overall, the barriers of the Olympic Games may have stunted the achievements of those whose bodies couldn't take it, but it couldn't break the spirit of the racers.
Only your wife's bed.
Aaron, too fucking soon, dude. Come on.
Yeah, they did.
No!
Yeah,
No!
Come on and slam!
And welcome to the jam!
Come on and slam!
If you want to jam!
Stupid.